I love to kiki with the girls. So I'm talking to the hairstylist and she's washing my hair. I'm filming. I have my tripod. All the girls have their tripods because we're all content creators. So we're in the space, tripods up, and she's like, I've washed your hair 3 times. It's not reverting. And I'm like, what do you mean? I snatched my phone out that tripod so fast. Like, yes, I just sat with it because I was just like, how am I going to explain this to my audience who come to me for natural hair or healthy hair tips, especially not just natural hair styling or whatever the case is. Like,
Because
this is,
you
yes,
are a researcher.
yes, exactly. And I'm like, there's no way I can skirt around this. I would even feel dishonest to myself to try and hide it.
Welcome to the Covered Podcast. I am your host, Mya-Karren, and on this show we discuss women and how we are showing up in the world. Today's guest is Fola Amudipe. Across Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, Fola has built a community of 500,000 strong, where she talks about natural hair care, traveling, and lifestyle. Fola has worked with Dove, SheaMoisture, Olaplex, and Aveda, and she has even been featured in Essence magazine. Recently, or last year, The Cut wrote an article about Fola's salon visit that resulted in heat damage, and today we're here to talk about it all. Please welcome Fola Amudipe.
Hi, everyone. Thank you
Hello,
so
and
much
of
for
course you look
having me.
gorgeous.
Thank you. You look
Absolutely.
amazing.
So thank you as well. I wanted to have a conversation with you. We are going to get to the heat damage, but whenever I have guests on, I love to talk about their natural hair journey. And I do love to start with childhood because for most, that is when our views about our hair, especially our natural hair, are formed. So starting out, where were you raised? Who was doing your hair and how is it being styled?
So I was born and raised in San Bernardino, California, which is about an hour and a half from LA. But I also grew up in an immigrant household by Nigerian parents, so I'm Nigerian American. So throughout my childhood, my mom was always braiding my hair. I had the cutest hairstyles. Like looking back, I hated sitting in the chair because I was like, oh my God, mom, you're so heavy-handed. She'd be like, you're so tender-handed, but girl, you was heavy-handed. But I would be in the chair and she'd be doing my hair, and I would hate being in the chair, but I would love the hairstyles because it'd be so cute. Like a braided bob or a different ponytail or like a little swoop here and there. So I feel like my relationship with hair was more so on braids first before anything because I feel like that's what we were doing. My mom had braids. She would have wigs from time to time, but it was like that's what I knew, and that was like the late 90s into the early 2000s. And then when I started to get a hold of my own hair, it would be like more so straightening. I feel like I never really saw my curl pattern. I never really knew what my curl pattern looked like until I went natural in high school. This was like my junior year of high school. But up until that point, I would like try different things. I would be straightening my hair. Didn't know what I was doing, didn't know what a heat protectant was, but I was putting the pressing comb to my head, girl. It was something. So I feel like I had all different type of hairstyles. Didn't start trying weaves and wigs until high school as well, but I was always like at a salon, getting my hair straightened. So it wasn't until junior year of high school where I went to Louisiana and I saw all these different Black people wearing locks or wearing their natural hair. I just feel like because it was so predominantly Black versus my upbringing was like Black and Latino, I didn't really see that presence where I grew up. So when I went to Louisiana, I saw that. That was kind of like it felt like a culture shock in a way, like from California to New Orleans, but it was interesting to me and it forced me to interrogate like what I was doing with my hair and wanting to emulate that thing. So then I started wearing my natural hair. And although I had heat damage and still didn't really know what my hair pattern looked like or my curl pattern looked like, it was forcing me to like reconcile with that. So I would do twist outs and bantu knots and all type of things to like have some type of curl pattern until it was healthy enough where I could like big chop. So I had like a blunt little I had like the Rihanna bangs with the blunt cut. It was real cute. Real cute. And then I was doing that and then college, that's when I started like wearing my curly hair in its very natural state. And up until then, that was kind of like the journey of like braids and then wigs and then natural hair. And so from 16, 15 onwards, I started my natural hair journey.
I love that. I do want to go back first to your mother because I heard you say the braids and you loved the hairstyles.
Mhm.
Now, when she was braiding your hair, was she using added hair or extensions or it was just your hair?
I want to say like when I was really, really young, just my hair. But when I got into like middle school, she started adding extensions because I wanted all the colors. Like I wanted red here and I wanted blue. I wanted this, that, and the third. She let me play. So that was fun, but it wasn't until I would say middle school that she started adding.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
And when she was doing your hair, because oftentimes, one of the things that I love to impress when it comes to my channel is mom's attitude, or whoever is doing the caregiver,
Mhm.
whoever is doing the hair, their attitude and what they say about the child's hair matters and can often shape their perception.
Yeah.
What was your mother's attitude? Was she complaining, or was she speaking life into your hair while she was doing it?
I can't remember that young, but I know that when I made the decision to wear my hair natural, my parents were like not really messing with it. They were like,
Hmm.
and it wasn't like a hateful type of rhetoric towards my hair, but so to speak, it was more so like, why do you want to do that? Like, or your hair isn't done. And I'm telling them that my hair is done, or like your hair looks too big because I was like really, really skinny. So they'd make fun of like my hair's so big and I have that stick body underneath. Like they would do stuff like that. But I know it wasn't their preferred hairstyle on me, but it was
Okay.
mine. And I think once I started to push back because I'm someone who my dad would call me like, you're going to be a lawyer. You're going to do it because I knew how to argue. And I was like,
Okay.
yeah, no, I'm the eldest daughter too, so I feel like if anybody was gonna push back on things, it was gonna be me because I was the only one to do it. So I was like, "Well, I'm not gonna subscribe to what you guys think is like, respectability politics and keeping my hair straightened and this, that, and the third." I was like, "No, I'm gonna wear my hair like this, and y'all are gonna deal with it." And they dealt with it until they also saw that like, "Oh, black hair is beautiful, da 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 this, da 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 that." Because like I feel like as immigrants too, they want to assimilate into the culture,
Yes.
into the community that,
Yes.
is America. But at the same time, I think they didn't want me to deal with the repercussions of what that looks like on my own. And I'm just like, well, I'm gonna have to do it anyway. Like, you know what I mean? I'm good. I have my own life. I go to high school. You know what I mean? Like we deal with kids. There's scenarios where you guys won't be there. So it's just like I'm gonna have to deal with this anyway. So why not just let me deal with it? And I did. And then it was just actions that I came to on my own. So it's like I think they were just like taken aback by me wanting to pursue this natural hair journey. But it's just I think in me learning my natural hair and loving my natural hair, they also kind of came to that on their own too. Like, oh, you look beautiful. Your hair is beautiful. Like I saw the change happening in real time. Yeah.
And that was actually getting ready to be my question. Once they saw the glory in your natural hair, was there
Yes.
no more pushback and they
There
were
was no more
okay with
pushback.
it?
Yes. Now my mom was talking about, "Oh, you're so beautiful, and I love your hair, da da this and da." And mind you, my dad is like bald too, so it's not like he can go ahead and be like he used to like be like, "Oh yeah, I used to wear my Jerry curls back in the day and this, that, and the third." Like, they be talking about some back in the day. All right, back in the day, back in the day. But yeah. So they finally get it. They finally got it.
Wonderful. And I know for me, when I called my mother about going natural, she was all for it. When I
Mhm.
called my father, he was a little apprehensive. I
Mhm.
think he thought that I was just going to roll out of bed and leave like that. I know
Mhm.
for me personally, because I was relaxed, I actually tend to my hair more now that I'm natural than when I was relaxed. But
Right.
was this your first time, I guess you could say, rebelling or not following your parents' wishes for you when you went natural?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay.
I feel like
All
I
right.
always push back in some regard of something like, "Oh, I wanna go to my friend's house," and, "No, you can't do that because 'cause you're a girl," or da da this, da da da. Like, I was just someone who always was very curious too. I would be like, "Why? Why? Why not? Why this? Why this?" Like, questioning things. So I feel like when it came down to my natural hair, it wasn't something that was so out of pocket for me because it was just like, well, she's gonna do what she's gonna do. She's gonna do what she wants because that's just who I am. So they understood that and learned that about me as I got older. And so even now to this day, when I travel and do all the things, I'm just like, why? Like, just stay. Da, da, da. I'm like, she's like, well, at the end of the day, I'll pray for you. I know you're gonna do what you want. And I'm like, exactly. Thank you very much.
Just pray because you
you
do
know?
do a lot of solo traveling. I think your last
Mhm.
trip wasn't it a solo travel?
Yeah, it was partially solo travel. So yeah, she was just like, I'm
Okay.
just praying. I'm like, okay, girl.
All right, so let's move to high school because I heard that you, if it was it the curling iron or the flat iron or the hot comb, y'all were best friends.
All the things. All the
All the
things.
things.
My hairstylist had Marcel, so she was in it.
So when you were doing this, were you relaxed or were you natural?
Natural. I've actually never had a relaxer.
Never. And
Never.
that was getting ready. Okay, never.
I could not I can't remember ever my hair.
Texturizer, texture
Yeah,
release, Japanese straightening. You've always been natural.
always been natural, just more heat styling than anything. Yeah.
Okay. So then let's move to, because you said high school. Was it in high school or was it in college when you really started to think about the health of your natural hair?
It was high school because I
High
think
school.
I stopped putting heat to my hair altogether.
Completely?
Yeah. I mean, I think I did maybe one or two, like when I big chopped, like when I transitioned, and I
Okay.
think it's like 2 years after going natural, I like big chop because I got rid of most of the heat damage. But I still straightened like maybe once or twice, but never myself. I would go to the shop and get it done. But after 2011, I didn't put a hot comb to my hair or a flat iron to my hair. It was blow drying. So yeah.
Was there anyone who, I'm pretty sure was there anyone who wanted you to get a relaxer or kept commenting about when you were going to get one?
I feel like it was, like, friends, like, family friends. I don't know if my mom knew what a relaxer was, because I can't remember her, like, ever trying to initiate, like, "Oh, you should do something to relax your hair," but it was more so, "Let's put it in braids," or "Let's put it in a style," or "Let's take you to the shop." It
Let's
wasn't
tame
necessarily.
it or let's
Yeah,
tame it.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Okay. So take me to college. You're embracing your hair. What did you go to college for?
I went to UC Berkeley, and I studied political economy, so I was there from, like, 2013 to 2017, 2018. So that was kind of like my college experience, and I don't even remember, like, wearing I feel like college, because my hair was so short too and wearing it curly, I was like I would throw it up in a bun. It barely fit in the bun back then, my freshman year, but I was throwing it up in a bun. So it wasn't I feel like it wasn't until, like, mid, like, sophomore year, junior year to college that I was experimenting more with, like, wearing my hair out, and people would ask me questions like, "How did you get your hair so long?" and this, that, and the third, and I feel like because I was so low tension with it, no heat styling, my hair was flourishing, and that's when a lot of people would tell me, like, "You should do YouTube," or "You should da 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 da," and I would just get so many questions about, like, "How did you do this thing to get your hair so long?" And it was just like, "Well, I just leave it alone." Like, I literally just left it alone. I threw it up in a bun. So, yeah, that was kind of like college, when I first started. It was really short, and I didn't experiment as much, but I was still, like, natural hair mostly.
Okay. So when you graduated from college, what was the intention? Was it to be a YouTuber and post and and do content on Instagram? What were you
What
supposed
was
to
the thought
go there and
process?
do and then
Yeah.
come out and do?
I feel like at first I wanted to like the traditional Nigerian, like, oh, be a doctor, be a lawyer. Like that was the first initial thing. But then I realized, okay, this math is not mathing, so I'm not going to do that. And then I wanted to, I forgot what else there was that I wanted to do, but I ended up in political economy because I still liked poli sci and I liked the economics. I feel like it gave me something that was theoretical but still practical and blended them together. So I wanted to do public policy at first, and I wanted to like go into some I wanted to live in New York. I know that I wanted to work with some type of international relations type of company or organization. So like when I was studying abroad, or my major, I should say, um, encouraged me to study abroad, learn a new language. So I learned French in college, studied abroad in London and Paris for like 4 months. And then I did another study abroad program while I was in Barbados studying political economy. So it was like everything was like geared towards that international relations type of field. But it wasn't until I graduated and then my dad fell sick and he unfortunately passed that like had me stay at home, work with the family, and then it kind of leaned into COVID. So it went from like 2018 trying to get my bearings. I wasn't gonna be home for long. In my head, I was like already looking for jobs while I was in my study abroad program because I was like, okay, once I get home, I'm home for a month, maybe two, then I'm off to New York to go do something, or DC, or anywhere that just LA, California didn't really give that at the time. I feel like LA is not really for politics like it is with DC and New York. So my whole thing was like, I'm gonna live on the East Coast and going, make this life for myself. But then when my dad fell sick and then I had to work with the family business in order to like keep my family afloat, all these different things, I felt like I needed to be there. So then 2018 up until 2020, I remember getting just any type of job. It was gonna be like an entertainment or something in the Bay, but like remote. And then COVID happened and then the job was gone. And I was just like, okay, well, what am I gonna do? I remember posting a video, a YouTube video just for like giggles about like, oh, my natural hair journey, because I was like, oh, people
To
kept
see what
asking.
happens.
You know what I mean? Yeah, people are asking, let me just post a little video, but I wasn't really serious with it. It was like just to like send people a link whenever they asked. I was like, well, I made a video, so here you go. Like this is, here it is. But then COVID happened and I was getting a little bit more like, okay, this is a little hobby. Let me make it like a side job. And then my sister was like, oh, you should get on TikTok. So I had finally reached like 5K, then 10K on Instagram. And then I got on TikTok and like instantly had 10K. And I was like, oh, well, maybe I should keep trying this thing. I was
This
like,
this
let me
might be
keep
a
posting.
thing. This
Yeah,
might
I
be
was like, let me
real.
keep posting. So I was posting and it was still like a side hobby because I was working with the family business and that was kind of like the main job, which still wasn't really paying well. It was just for family to make sure the bills were paid and all the things. But nothing substantial to like get me out of the house and have my own. So from there, it just started to take off and I was like, okay, well, let me just use this as my mode of expression, as like just something to do to pass the time because I was like, this is not what I want to do at all. I was like not postpartum, post grad depression and all the things that, you feel like you want this life for yourself and you've been dealt these cards. And now I'm like, this isn't the life that I was supposed to have, but at least there's this internet and me talking about hair and something I'm passionate about that could help me in the meantime and help others in the meantime. I felt that was really fulfilling for me. So from there, and I wasn't really making any money in 2018, neither in 2019. Like it was like, girl, it was nothing. 2020, 2021, I feel like, okay, I think it was like a couple $100s. And then I started, Clubhouse was a thing. And it was like,
Yes.
you remember Clubhouse? Yeah. Everybody
Yes.
was like, oh, what was going on over there? But Clubhouse was a thing, and then I feel like I started using that as, like, a podcast, like, I would listen to it and take notes. I would be in rooms with, like, people who were behind the scenes, like, marketers behind the scenes talking about what it was like to work with influencers, what they expected, what they would prefer, all these different things, and I had, like, a long doc of just, like, research on this thing and I'm like, okay, how can I make this work for me? Because this is what I have. My cards are dealt and I don't want to leave my mom by herself. I don't want to leave my siblings, to like try and fend for themselves. They're still in college. So I'm just like, let me figure out this thing that I could use and work remotely while also doing the family business. And that's when I feel like I was starting to turn this hobby into a real job for myself because I was taking it more seriously. And I think that's when I started to, climb up the ladder a little bit.
I love that. Two questions for you.
Yeah.
So, just to put it out there, you do consider yourself, I know many people do not like the hair chart system, typing system, but do you consider yourself to be 4C?
I don't. I don't
Okay.
actually, because I actually don't subscribe to the hair typing the system either, the chart
Okay.
as well. I feel like it's arbitrary. Anybody can say they're 4C or 4B. There is no actual, scientific structure behind, a doctor's not telling you, yeah, you have 4B, 4C hair. But I don't think I have the tightest curl pattern. I think I'm more in the 4A, 4B, and I have different curls on my head, like in different areas that are
I do
tighter.
too. The
Yeah.
reason why, and I completely agree. The reason why I'm asking is because when you started to realize this was a thing,
Hmm.
when you started to realize this could be a career path, what was coming down your feed, whether it's YouTube, Instagram, or TikTok? Did you see a lot of representation? Is that one of the reasons why you wanted to be a voice?
I think partly I feel like there was kind of like this interesting phenomenon of people using 4C as like a how should I say, a marketing scheme, like in order to like it's like clickbait. It felt like it was
Okay.
clickbait. Like people were saying, I'm 4C to get you to click on the thing, but they weren't actually 4C. And not to police people's hair typing, but
Right.
for a sector of people who already don't have that representation, it felt like you just want me to click on your video, but you're not even giving me the techniques that would be useful for me. Because that's the one thing I can say about the curl typing system is that what really matters there is the technique. Like we can do the same different type of styles. It might look different, but the technique is going to change from someone who is 3A to someone who is 4B. Like I'm going to, and use different techniques. But I felt like that was a big thing, which I felt like also clogged up the system when you're looking for type 4C, type 4, representation. It's like you're seeing all these people who are using it as a marketing ploy to like get people to click on their videos, and then you get like all the people who are actually type 4 washed out, right? And then there's also the biases too, like people's own biases of what they think they want their hair to look like, and they're clicking on these videos. Those videos are getting more traction than the actual people who are type 4, so then those aren't getting pushed as much, so then it's like it's feeding into this algorithm. It's so much at play, but to put it simply, no, there was not that much representation in my eyes.
And then, so you're going through all of this. You're handling the famous situation. You're looking for fiscal. You're looking for monetary. What's what I'm looking for? Stability. When did you realize that this was a thing? When was that defining moment? Was it a check? Was it a mention? Was it a tag? What happened when you said, you know what, I'm going in 100%?
I'm trying to think what was that moment for me. I want to say probably Sephora Squad.
Okay, I
Sephora
remember. I did see
Squad.
that.
Yeah, that because I didn't know what it was, but something in my brain was just telling me to just do it. Like you don't know like what could come from it. And at that time, I was like maybe 1 year into doing content creation on the side, and I was like, you know what, let me just do this thing. I don't know exactly what it is, but I know that it could probably be useful for me working with a big brand like Sephora. And then when I got in, I was like, oh, when I got the PR packages, my mom will tell you, there was PR packages all across the living room because I was like, I don't know what to do with this stuff. I don't know what is this? Like, it was crazy. And I think that is when I knew, when I started to break numbers that I gave myself, I was like, okay, if I can make this on a monthly basis and continuously, then okay, I think I'm gonna start working towards having a savings to take me out of the house so I could have my own apartment. And that's when I was like, okay, I'm consistently hitting these numbers. This is real. This is possible. All the things. So I would say Support Squad gave me that
Okay, so far we have gotten to this point. You're loving life. You've gotten the money. You've gotten the recognition. You're on Sephora Squad.
moment.
The cut and the article and the salon visit that you will probably never forget.
Right.
I saw it popped up on Instagram. And of course, when I saw your hair, I said, this woman is stunning. Hair, makeup, complexion. Love the outfits.
Thank
Love the
you.
traveling. It is true that I think it said 10 plus or it said 11 years prior to
Yeah.
that point of going to this particular salon visit. It had been 11 years since you had straightened your hair. Is that
Mhm.
correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Is there a reason? I mean, and for me personally, I straighten my hair once a year. That's it. Once you get
Mm.
frizzy, it's frizzy. The world will just have to understand.
Right.
But is there a reason why you wanted to get your hair straightened? Was this like for something different?
Yeah, for something different. I was already in the market of looking for someone who
Okay.
was like well established with natural hair, but also a black salon who, you know, just I just wanted to try something different. I've been also at the time trying different braid styles, getting creative with braid styling, just getting creative with my hair, period. And because I know that I've straightened my hair before while natural, like when I did the big chop and I straightened my hair and it reverted fine, and then I did it again when I was a freshman, reverted fine. Like I was like, my hair it should be fine. I've done it before, like, you know what I mean? So when it came down to the salon and they reached out to my management team and I was like, "Oh, this is perfect. Like I'm already in the market for looking for a stylist to straighten my hair. This is also a black salon. I love supporting black businesses when it comes to fashion, when it comes to all different type of things, you know?" So I was like, "Oh, this is like it just felt like an alignment." And I was like, "Well, why wouldn't I go and support this, you know, this company?" So when that happened and I went to the salon, it was it was an experience. I wouldn't say it was like the best experience because I felt like, you know, when I explained in the video, like, um, I don't think like, you know, the hot oil treatment was washed out all the way. I let them do their thing because it's like when you go to professionals, you don't want to micromanage professionals. You know, you glean from their experience, but at the same time, you go there because they have the expertise. They're licensed. They know what they should be doing, especially as a black salon. You would expect even more like understanding and care and all the things for black hair specifically. So, when I went to the salon, it was, you know, fine. I didn't it's a celebrity hair salon. The celebrity wasn't there. Like I saw in other videos or like they explained to me that she would be there cuz to do like an analysis and scalp analysis and, you know, make sure like all the things were fine and dandy, but it was somebody else who worked in the salon. And I'm like, oh, "Okay, you know, we're chopping it up. it's a great time, kikiing with the girls, like all the things. Like I'm just telling her, like, I haven't straightened my hair in a long time. Like, I just want to make sure my hair reverts back, but I'm going to try different styles and all the different things. And so we're doing like a luxury experience, and they have this massage chair, da 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 da. And then I feel like the first, like, I guess you would say, like, red flag, so to speak, was when I was in the chair, I guess you can say, because it's like not like a regular chair, but like a massage chair, like a big like massage chair, but she's like rinsing out, I think, the product, and like she got the back of my shirt wet. And I was telling her, and she was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry, da da this, da da da, blah blah blah." Okay, fine. That's fine. We get in the chair, she's blow drying my hair, and then she's like, "How does your hair feel?" And I'm like, "It feels fine, like, it feels, moisturized." And she's like, "I feel like the, hot oil treatment still feels like it's in your hair, like, I wanna take you back to the bowl so that we can wash it out." And mind you, we're midway through the, blow drying, so it's like, okay, we already blow dried the oil with my hair. Don't remember if heat protectant was used or not. We're just chopping it up. We're kikiing, so I'm not paying attention on what did you use, da, 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 all the things, right? So she takes me back to the chair, and we're washing my hair again, and then go back to the I guess the other chair so that she can start the blow drying process over again and straighten my hair, da 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 da. And because my shirt is wet from the first time, while she's straightening my hair, it's reverting again in the back because my shirt is wet. So she has to go back multiple passes in the back, so it just became a whole thing, and I'm, like, also trying to be, like, not make her feel bad for, a mistake, or like, something to me, it felt like something small, like, "Okay, you got my shirt wet." Like, you know what I mean? Like, "Okay, girl, it's fine. It's whatever, da, 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 should be fine." And I also, explained to her, like, "I just wanna make sure my hair's reverting." If it's already reverting in the back because the shirt is wet, I wouldn't think that it wouldn't revert 2 weeks later when I go to wash my hair. You know what I mean? And, my hair is already frizzing up as I'm outside. I'm going to Everyday People, which is, like, a big party in LA. I'm going to Everyday People, and my hair is starting to revert back, and I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." I'm doing curlers in my hair when I go to the gym because I wanna make sure, like, I'm not putting extra heat on my hair, but I also wanna stick to my routine, all the things. So 2 weeks later, when I go to another event, which is for, like, natural hair, they have different hairstylists there to wash your hair, and it's just natural hair, and I think that's where people are starting to conflate the 2, like, "Oh, you were in the bowl, and why didn't you tell her, da da da?" Like, I'm like, "These are 2 separate events that happen weeks apart from each other." But I'm in the bowl in a public space with all my other peers in, like, the influencer space, who are like, and it just became, like, I feel like a traumatizing experience because I think it would've if I would've washed my hair at home and had those emotions at home, it would've felt different, but because I was in a public space where they're washing my hair for the first time, and I was just like, "It's not reverting." I'm like, "What do you mean it's not reverting?" And I had to, like, calm myself and center myself and all the things because I'm just like, I wanna break down and cry because this is my hair. This is my it's not even just my hair, but it's also my moneymaker. This is what I built
Yes.
my foundation on my
Yes.
platform on. So it's like, "What do you mean my hair is not reverting?" And it's not like they're loosened curls, it's straight, just straight. It's
Straight
just
pieces.
straight.
Yes.
Yes, and I'm
Yes.
like, how does this even happen? And that's when I was going back through the footage. Thank God I was even recording because this was a collaborative deal with the salon where, it was in exchange, a comp service in exchange to post. And because I was so like happy with the results and like we were kicking with the girl, I had a great relationship, da 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 da, da, I posted it everywhere. I posted it on TikTok, I posted it on I don't even know if I posted on Twitter, but it got reposted onto Instagram. Instagram reposted it to Pinterest, Facebook. Like I was posting it everywhere versus we only had like it was only one platform, mind you. So I was happy to repost it everywhere because I was like, this is a big deal for me. I haven't straightened my hair in so long. This is a new, event for like me, but also the girls too are seeing my hair differently. So it's just like, okay, now this huge thing has happened where my hair is severely damaged. It's not going to take long for people to piece two and two together because it's not like I get my hair straightened on a regular basis. So it just became a whole thing. Yeah.
I and I had not heard about, and I heard you say people are conflating. So the first time, because you said that you had been doing all the things, going at the humidity, you were rolling your hair. The
Mhm.
first time that you actually knew that it was a problem was in that public space.
Mhm. Yeah.
Okay, and they said that it wasn't reverting. When
Yeah.
you went and you were in the bowl, what were they supposed to do? Were they supposed to just do like a demonstration on your hair and they were supposed to like style it or something?
Yeah, they were supposed to just use there was maybe about, I wanna say 10 different hairstylists, like, it was like a open salon event based on, like, a particular hair brand, like a natural hair brand. So we went to the shop, we were supposed to, like, get our hair done with the natural hair products. So they had the hairstylist there. There was maybe like 4 or 5 bowls, other people on the other side in like chairs with the mirrors and stuff, getting their hair like a wash and go, a twist out, like all natural hairstyles, essentially. So I'm there. My hair is straightened from the 2 weeks that I had the silk press. I'm going there. I'm like, okay, yeah, perfect. I want to do my wash and go, my usual like wash and go hairstyle. So I get to the bowl and I'm, talking and chopping it up with the girls because I love to kiki with the girls, so I'm talking to the hairstylist and she's washing my hair. I'm filming, I have my tripod, all the girls have their tripods because 'cause we're all content creators. So we're in the space, tripod's up, and she's like, "I've washed your hair 3 times. It's not reverting." And I'm like, What do you mean?" I snatched my phone out that tripod so fast, like, trying to see what she was talking about because I was like, "What do you mean it's not reverting?" She's like, "It's not reverting." And I've never all the years that I've heat styled, because mind you, I've never had a relaxer. I've always heat styled. Even my girl that had the Marcells when I was going constantly 2 weeks to the hair salon to get my hair straightened, she would use Marcells, which are for people who don't know what Marcells are like the ones that you put in like an oven. So you can't regulate the temperature like an expert would know when to take it out and, use da 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 da. But those I feel like are risky when you're using Marcel's because if you're not sure about the temperature, you can really, damage somebody's hair. But because I was doing that for so long and going to my girl for so long, my hair has never looked that damaged ever. I maybe had loosened curls when I was, a kid before I went natural, but never to the extent of bone straight heat damage. And that's when I feel like people were coming up with these different ideas of like, I think they put chemicals in the shampoo. Or I think they did this, or I think they did that. And I'm like, well, I was there. I think I would have smelled chemicals. Like, I don't know. And even in my video, I still to this day, I'm like, I don't know what was done. I can only, ponder on like what I think happened. And it just became a whole spectacle. I feel like from when I um, got my hair washed and realized I had this severe heat damage. So when I actually posted about it, it was like a month. Like I feel like I took a month to just
That was getting ready to be my next
yes,
question.
I just sat with it because I was just like, how am I going to explain this to my audience who come to me for natural hair or healthy hair tips, especially not just natural hair styling or whatever the case is. Like
Because
this
you
is
you are a
yes,
researcher.
yes, exactly. And I'm like, there's no way I can skirt around this. I would even feel dishonest to myself to try and hide it. Like, I'm like, I'm not that type of person. And there's just no hiding it. Like, it's so bone straight that, like, there's just no elasticity. Even if I wanted to put rollers in it or, like fake the funk, there's no faking the funk. There is no faking the funk. And I told this to the team as well. I told this to my team because obviously my managers were the ones who like helped facilitated this thing because they reached out to us. But I also like having a conversation with the salon. Like I'm going to have to share my
Yeah.
experience because at the end of the day, this is my business. Like it's on my head, but it's also a part of how I make money. And yeah, it was a lot. It was a lot.
I I can only imagine the feelings because that was getting ready to be my next question. You're in the bowl. I heard you say you snatched your phone. So from the time that you were in that bowl and then from the time that you posted the video that went viral, it had been a month.
It had been a month. So there was like I got my hair done mid-July of last year and then got my hair washed 2 weeks later at the end of July. And then had the conversation with the salon and all the things the beginning of August and still sat with like, okay, how am I going to share this type of thing? Also me going through my own emotions of like mourning my hair, grieving my hair, like how am I and I knew to myself, like, I'm going to have to cut my hair. Either I'm going to have to transition for a very long time, or I'm going to have to cut my hair because there's no like reverting bone straight hair. But I just felt like, okay, at the end of the day, I need to tell my audience how am I going to do this, but I also have to feel better about the situation, or at least like not so fresh. Like the feelings just felt so fresh that I feel like I needed time in between to like, okay, now I can, without crying, share the thing that has happened to my hair. And I didn't expect it to go as viral as it did, but it did. It went stupid viral, like everywhere. People, I mean, I have the shade room blocked. But like those type of pages that like emulate the shade room were taking things and also
Wow.
posting it on their own
Okay.
pages saying um like saying the salon's name and doing, even though I didn't do it on my page, but doing
I
that.
remember
So
that.
it became like a whole da 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 da. Da. And I was like, whoa, this is bigger than what I thought. I thought I'm speaking to just my audience, but it became like a bigger spectacle. So yeah.
I remember in your video, and I don't know if looking back you think this as well, because you mentioned in your video the actual flat iron that was used. You said that you looked it up and it is like known, or the review said it's very high temperature and it's known to cause damage.
Yeah.
Looking back, that's what was used, right? Do you think
Mhm.
that was part of it? I know you said that you're not for sure, because this actually, it sounds like it was a culmination of things, but
Yes.
it sounds like that particular flat iron may have actually been the pin in the coffin.
Yeah, I think so. Like you said, and like I said, I'm not for sure, but based on when I look back at the video recordings of like, I was looking at, I was like, what is this flat iron that they use? Because they use, a skinny flat iron for like the roots and stuff, and then their branded flat iron, which I can't, there's no reviews on that. So people are also like, what kind of flat iron did they use? Was it titanium? Was it da da da? I'm like, it wasn't titanium, but I don't know it. I can't see reviews on it to know like how it's impacted other people's hair. So I can't speak to that bigger flat iron. But the skinny one, when I went on Amazon, I was like, oh, this is like $18.99. And this is like the reviews are saying, that it's damaged their hair severely and there's no temperature control. So I'm just like, that's interesting, to put it kindly. That's interesting to know that they would use that flat iron in a luxury salon. So it was disheartening, if anything. I felt like, I obviously I got a comp service, but to know like you charge a premium price, I should expect premium materials used for a premium service. And to know that it was a flat iron that was not even $50, like something that people had already had problems with before, it just showed that there was, I don't know, just it seemed like there wasn't care there. So I don't know.
Something happened to you. It's your hair. You have to sit with that.
Right.
The potential to it impact your livelihood in your business, because that's what
Mhm.
you're known for,
Right.
is substantial. And
Right.
you kind of feel like the salon just kind of said, we apologize, and then just left it at that.
Yeah, that's it. That's it's it because I the apology was the apology, but it was like, but sorry, but
There was a but.
like you chose that service. Sorry, but
Okay.
you there's a risk, and which I know, I think everybody knows there is a risk when you straighten your hair. But
Yes.
if I straighten my hair, and I've straightened my hair since the whole ordeal, how is it that I, not a professional, can straighten my own hair and it revert fine versus going to licensed professionals, which I would assume know exactly what they're doing, but I get the most heat damage so severe that I've ever gotten in my life. It's so perplexing to me that like that would be the rationale because I chose that service that I should have expected that level of damage. I don't know. It was just interesting to me.
And people have made this comment before, and you can expand or not expand. Legal compensation, or making it a legal matter.
Right.
Did you attempt? Did you find out that it was probably going to be much more of a headache than you were willing to?
Absolutely.
Did you explore that avenue?
I did explore that avenue, and people
Okay.
still to this day have, you should sue, you should sue." Girl, do you know how much it would cost me to sue? Do you know how long it would take for me for that to actually transpire? There's actually no precedent of this ever going to court. So that is a whole nother issue. Had it been, and I talked to 5 different lawyers, by the way. Had it
Wow.
been
Okay.
like, my scalp was burned, or
Mm.
like any level of damage that's long lasting and impactful in that way, okay, possibly there would be grounds to sue. But because it's hair, that grows back. Maybe if my hair didn't grow back, I don't know. I don't know. But from the lawyers I talked to, they told me it would be a long battle that wouldn't be worth pursuing, mainly because there is no precedent of a court case like this that I don't even know if anybody has ever sued in this way, but there's just no precedent for this. So it felt like it would be not worth my while to do that. And I did ask for compensation from the salon because I know it would, all the treatments, all the things going to other people to try and not necessarily rectify my hair, but at least use treatments to treat my hair as my new growth came in because when you're transitioning how fragile that section is from the new growth to the damaged hair. So all of that, and it was kind of just crickets, unfortunately. But I think me just turning lemons into lemonade was my best bet, and sharing my story with people, whi- which I still to this day the way it went viral amazes me, but I think using my platform to, like, help people rather than dwell on the situation, so to speak, felt more fulfilling than me trying to go after them in that way. Because 'cause I'm just like, the most we can do is hope that they, take out the hot oil treatment or do something better or you know what I mean? And that's really what I wanted at the end of the day because I don't want this to happen to somebody else. That was really like, what it was at the end of the day, but I can't I can't change, I can't force them to do whatever they plan to do. I can only move forward with my life and my business, so that's what I did, and I felt like that there was fruits of that labor that I got to reap, and I think I feel okay with the way things have happened from then to now.
Okay. I'm going to bring up a theory or an observation, and you can tell me your thoughts.
Okay.
Because I also create natural hair content,
Mhm.
and you said that I know that you said that you were looking, but this particular salon, they reached out to you.
Mhm.
Okay. There was another content creator, and I believe she took out her dreads and she went to a salon in Houston and they did what they did. I think her
Mhm.
video at this point has like 11.7 million views.
Oh,
It
wow.
was not the best experience.
Yeah.
When it comes to salons collaborating or reaching out to the influencer, it seems right now that they're doing it, of course, for I understand that it can be a great vehicle for your business. Someone like you coming into someone's business, sharing content. But there are people who are beginning to say that there are companies who are reaching out solely to bring in the influencer. They have a terrible experience. They post about it. They still get the content. It's a black owned business. They don't want someone to, downtrodden a black business. So they have customers coming in anyway. Do you think that, looking back on it, because they reached out to you, was there ever a red flag?
To me, not in the beginning. I feel like if there was
Okay.
any red flag, it was like as the treatment was happening or as the service was happening, but
Okay.
it didn't feel at the time like I need to get up and leave. Because people said that too, like, "Why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave?" I'm like, "First of all, this is it's supposed to be a mutually beneficial service of, exchange, service for content." But it didn't feel as though anything was malicious. So that's what I was like, well, it at the time, it didn't feel like, they were doing these things and she felt like she didn't know what she was doing. It just felt like, "Oh, this was a small mistake. Let's go back to the bowl, da da da." Okay, fine. Like that's, we're and I'm like I said, like me and the hairstylist had a great like rapport when we were teaching that I wasn't thinking anything was malicious. I still to this day don't think anything was malicious. I think it was a mistake. How they handled the situation, I can't speak to, but but I don't personally feel like there was red flags in the beginning because I was already in. the process of looking for somebody to straighten my hair, and it just felt
Right.
like an alignment. I was just like, "Oh, I'm already looking for it, da da da," and I'm like, "Oh, it's a black-owned business.
Came
Oh,
up at the
perfect." Like,
perfect time.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
It was like, "Oh, this is perfect." Even my assistant could attest to, like, I'm like, "Yeah, I've been looking at this girl," and I'm like, then it happened in my email. Like, usually
And then it
that
pops in
happens with,
your
like, brand
email.
deals and da da da. Like, I'll be talking about a brand and, like, they reach out and I'm like, "Oh my god, perfect." Like, I was just talking about y'all. Like, it just so happened to be like, I'm someone who usually takes pride in researching and, making sure I do my due diligence to, like, make sure the people I'm going to are, we align. But I think because this felt already like alignment, I didn't have to dig to do research, which I felt like in hindsight, I should have. And I feel like people also were victim blaming, like, you should have known da 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 this or da 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 about X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, well, how would I have known this thing? Like, they came to me. It just felt like, had I known what I know now, obviously, I wouldn't have taken the deal, and it's not like they were paying me. People like to say that too, like, "Oh, like, it's because they paid you thousands of dollars or this, that, and the third that you took the deal and look what happened," like, da, da, da. It wasn't even that, like, I wasn't paid, like, it was just a, exchange of services, but it is what it is now. It is what it is.
Was there security there for you because it was a celebrity stylist or a celebrity salon?
No. No, it wasn't
So
anything like
didn't make a difference to you. You thought it was great, but the fact that they were labeled maybe a celebrity, because you said that the actual, I guess, celebrity hairstylist was not the one that was actually going to do it. It was somebody else, right?
right, right. Like, when I got
Okay.
there, that's when I realized, like,
Yes.
"Oh, somebody else." Yeah, yeah, yeah. But it wasn't the label. I feel like people also like to say, like, "Oh, like, just because they say it's a celebrity salon, doesn't mean that they know every X, Y, and Z," which you can say that about anything, everything. People who do braids who call themselves celebrity stylists, people who do, you know what I mean, dress other people, da da da. Da. That doesn't really mean anything to me because I live in LA. Everybody is a celebrity something. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
everybody
Okay.
everybody has done a celebrity at some point. Even my the person who big chops my hair for me, she is a celebrity stylist as well, but more so in the natural hair space. And I love her. We are, great rapport. I've known her for years. Like, that doesn't mean anything to me as long as I know that you know what you're doing. And I think that at the end of the day, because I assumed, like, this person, this hairstylist, your license, you have a salon, you have an overhead. Like, it's not like you're doing it out of your home. Because there's people who will be like, I'm a celebrity this, but still be working out of their home, or like using Zelle versus like having, you know what I mean? All these different things that, like, are you a celebrity? Are you, da, 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 you know what I'm saying? But I feel like because they were well established and licensed, I think those are things I look for when you go to a professional. So it's just like that celebrity, whatever, that didn't really mean anything to me. It was like, oh, you're professionals, period. So,
Okay. And
yeah.
you talked about this briefly. If you could just expand a little bit. You talked about your livelihood. And I agree with you when you were saying there is no way to skirt around this issue. I am going to have to say something and show my community. Within all of this, was there a point where you wanted to stop creating content because this happened?
I don't think it was a point to stop. I think I have a good team around me, and they, told me, like, take a break, take a breather, which I needed. But I knew that this is a common experience for Black women. And I think me sharing my story, as hurtful as it is to me and how many emotions were running through me, I knew it was important to share my story because I knew it would impact other people. And me just sharing my story also is relatable to the sense that, like, I feel like, when you have long hair and this, that, and the third, I feel like people are like, this isn't unattainable. This isn't da da da. Da." Feels like they're starting from square one and you're already here with like with my hair, for example. But like, this can happen to anyone. And I think that in itself, it I don't know. I feel like there's a sense of just like relatability and being able to like share that story, but also take people along for the journey because I knew that's what it was going to have to be. It's going to be a journey. Even now, it's almost been a year, and I feel like it's still a journey. So I know I was going to have to share that story. Even my uh, grandchild just was like, "You should just like Britney it and just like da 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 shave it off, and it's gonna be crazy." And da da da. I was like, "Girl, no." No. No, 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 no. But we were just, like, ideating on, like, what is the best way to share this story, and it just so much of it was, like, I was pushing back because I was just so angry and so sad and grieving and all the things that it was just like, okay, the best thing for me right now is to just take a break, but not to never not share. That was never a thing for me to do. Like I wasn't planning on never sharing. I was always going to share.
Okay. Did the heat damage affect your confidence or your daily life?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I feel like my
Okay.
confidence for one, I think was the main that's the thing it hit the
Okay.
like at first. Just like I think I've grown so confident in my natural hair, and people say that too. Like, how are you able to wear your natural hair so confidently? Da, da, da. I'm just like, it just feels so ingrained in me. I'm like, I don't even know how to answer that question. But then not having my natural hair, something that feels like, something that it just feels like a part of my outfit, part of my wardrobe. Like it just feels like
Yes.
stripped from me. And I'm just like, it's not something I did to myself. I think if I did it to myself, it would have felt different. But because someone else did it to me, it felt
Yes.
like I don't know, like I didn't have agency over my own hair, like what I was able to do with it just felt like why did they do this to me? Like why did da 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 da? I just there was so much going through my head, but confidence wise, I felt like I just had to take a different approach to it. I'm like, okay, what could I do with my hair? It felt like I was back in my beginning natural hair journey of like transitioning, but it just felt different because I was just like, oh, I gotta have these straight pieces. If it was just loose and curls, okay, I can deal with that. There's some tangibility and flexibility there that like if I did a flexi rod, it would hold. But when I was doing flexi rods on like the straight pieces, it would hold for like 5 minutes and then start dropping. I'm just like, girl, this is
And then don't go outside with the
You
humidity.
know what I'm saying? I'm like, you're killing me, Larry. Oh my God. But it forced me to look at my hair differently and love it differently. Like I had to take moments where like I didn't want to fake the funk online, like, oh my God, it's fine, it's fine. Like this is how you love your hair and blah, blah,
This
blah.
is real. Yes.
This is yeah. And I bet I would post also about like okay, I'm trying my best, but I'm also like, I'm getting to a point with my hair. Like it's a lot. Like I'd be in the shower trying to softly, detangle it and it'd be like chunks and chunks of hair coming out. And I'm just like, oh my God, this is stressing me out. And I feel like the stress on top of that was just like not helping, not with my mental health and all the things. So I'm just like, okay, I'm definitely going to have the big chop. And now it's just a matter of when and also keeping my hair as healthy as it can be in between. So, that was kind of like my thought process, but the confidence was definitely a little shaky,
Okay.
can't
Well,
lie.
from an onlooker, I could not tell. You have looked fabulous since day
Thank you,
one.
I
But I
appreciate
wanted to ask you, you said that you're coming up on a year, and I did hear you speak about anger. Today, right now, where are you with the situation mentally? Are you better? Are you okay? What's going on in your head?
Yeah, I feel like now I've moved past it. I mean, obviously, I talk about the situation kind of in hindsight, like, I was able to straighten my hair, like do the things that like would scare me from the situation or like what would be traumatized. And I'm like, no, I have to handle this thing straight on. That's why I'm like, let me straighten my hair now while it's short. Because if I can't straighten it, like, you know what I mean? Like people are like, why are you straight? Because I need to know. I need to know now if I can straighten my hair and or I get to a point where my hair is long and I, came up on the same damage again. I'm like, oh, I have to start from scratch again. No, like, let's do this now. But I feel like I'm a lot better with the situation because my hair is, cut now. I don't have to deal with the two different textures or dealing with, all the things that made me feel like this isn't me. Cause I felt like when I was dealing with the heat damage, it just felt like I was constantly in between like should I straighten it? Should I just be a straight natural or should I like what do I want to do with my hair? Do I want to cut it? No, I can't cut it now. It's too short. I would still have all this damage. It was just I was like, I have to stick this out. So now I just feel a lot better about the situation. I like the shortcut. I was really apprehensive about cutting my hair short because I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna look like. Like it's different. I'm like, and people think like, oh, like it'll be fine, like you big chop before. I transitioned, then I big chop. I transitioned, then I big chop. Okay. So I had, I could put it in a
You had
bun.
some hair. You had some hang
Yeah, I could
time.
put it in a bun. So that's why I was like, that's usually my go-to, and I don't want to do too much to my hair. I'm like, oh, let me just throw it in a bun. I cannot throw it in a bun. So just like, I know I'm gonna have to be going through this process of what my hair looks like when it's short, how I'm styling my hair, like all these different things that I knew I wasn't ready for at the time because my emotions were still so raw. People are telling me, you should just cut it, you just cut it. even now to this day with this big chop, I still have heat damage from the initial experience because had I gone, had I chopped it all off, I would have to go a lot shorter. Even talking with the hairstylist as we were cutting, she was like, "How do you feel?" I'm like, "I like it like that." She's like, "Okay, just so you know, you still have pieces in the middle that are still straight. So we're using like Olaplex and, different things to still try and see if there's any bonds that can be relinked because it's so short now. But at the same time, it was like, okay, I don't think I'm comfortable going too short, but I'm like, I like where we stopped at. So it's just like still two people who were saying like, just cut it, just cut it, just cut it. I'm like, if I cut it then, I would still have so much damage, especially like this middle all across was where it was bone straight. And I'm like, I would still have to like deal with the heat damage, and, like, I can't imagine having heat damage that short because I can't hide it. Like, I can't do a flexi rod, I can't do a bun, I was like, I'll be forced to, like, be in this exposé of, like, curly hair and straight hair, like, it would be crazy, it would be crazy. I have to grow it out. So even now, I'll probably cut it again, maybe, like, August, like, chop the piece because now I have some, more growth coming in, and now it's like, I thought I was a pixie, but I'm more like a big C, like, when I straighten it down,
Yes.
I was like, "Oh, I grow some hair. Okay, cute, 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 cute." So yeah, that's kind of where I'm at.
Okay, we are definitely going to get to the big chop, but I do have one question. What is one misconception that people have about heat damaged hair, in your opinion?
I think even though I talked about this in my boot camp because I was doing a whole boot camp just to experiment with
Get
my
to
hair.
that, yes.
Heat damage is not reversible. It's not reversible. And I feel like I tried to make this clear in my boot camp. Like we're just experimenting because I know the straight pieces are straight. They're not going anywhere. But I had like heat people, I don't know if people realize this, but I'm like, I had heat damage in the front and I had heat damage in the back. It was everywhere. It was just different um like level of damage of like heat damage essentially. So I'm just like, okay, with these different products like K18 and Olaplex, can they keep my hair strong? Can they relink bonds so that there's something? It's not going to be the original pattern, but it will be more, flexibility in the hair or elasticity, I should say. But I think people were thinking that I was trying to reverse the damage. And I'm like, that's not what I'm doing. I'm running an experiment, but not trying to reverse anything, but to see like of the curls that have been loosened, can they like retain some type of elasticity so that as I'm growing this hair out, I can kind of see before and afters of like XYZ products. Can they do what they're saying in the, you know what I'm saying, in their instructions or the usage or whatever the case is, but it's not reversible. I wasn't trying to reverse. There's no way I was getting my 4B curls back. Like that's insane to think about. But I would say, yeah, that I feel like is a big misconception. I've seen people use like different bond builders to help with like kind of relinking those bonds to get some type of curl back, and they did, but not to the point of the original curl pattern. Yeah, so I wanted to make that clear because I feel like girls were trying to think I was stupid. I go, girl, come on, you know me, like no, no.
That is the perfect segue because, as I said earlier, you are a researcher. So,
Yes.
whatever you want to tell us about the hair boot camp. So, you got the heat damage, you've already informed your community. What products did you use and what was your thought process behind the hair boot camp? Because you had already said you already know that you are going to have the big chop and
Mhm.
you are already aware that you were not going to get your same curls back.
So the idea behind the boot camp was, okay, I have these two different textures now, completely different textures all around my head. But I feel like the most prominent ones were the straight pieces. Those, it is what it is. But with the other textures that were loosened in the front and the back, is it possible for these curls to retain some strength? Is it possible for the curls to retain some elasticity? Because um they were starting to lose that spring. Like that's what happens when the bonds, disulfide bonds, hydrogen bonds, ionic bonds are broken, that you lose that elasticity in your hair so that you're not able to it can't spring back the way you would. It won't revert back when you wash your hair. So I'm like, okay, how can I keep my hair strong while also dealing with the new growth, while also seeing, okay, let me run this experiment and see, does this product say, or can it do what it says on the bottle? Like, can it help with these broken disulfide bonds to at least bring back some type of spring in my hair, I know it's not going to be my original curl pattern, but something so that when I'm styling my hair, I'm not putting more and more stress on it, because at the end of the day, more stress, whatever on your hair, the more you constantly style and all the things, you are still like putting like mechanical damage on your hair. So I'm like, okay, I know that these parts of my hair are weak, a lot weaker than the new growth. So I'm trying to make sure that they stay strengthened, they stay hydrated, because at the end of the day, that line of demarcation is the only thing that's keeping that hair together, essentially from the straight pieces, from the damaged hair and the new growth. So that was basically my idea behind it. I also stressed in the boot camp, please talk to a professional. I am not a professional. I'm just doing an experiment. That's why it's free. I'm not charging on nothing. It's just my brain just working like, what can I
The
do?
hair is already damaged. Let's
You
see
know what
what
I'm
we can
saying?
do.
Let's see what we
Yes.
can do, because it's like at this point, I knew I was gonna have to grow it out. I knew it was gonna take me months to grow it out. That's why people were so heavy on trying to tell me, just cut it, just cut it, just cut it. Babes, the damage is to my scalp, okay? It's to my scalp. There's no way I can cut it. I would have to go bald. Like, in order to get all the damage off, I would have to go bald, and I'm not ready for that. So in the meantime, let's just experiment. I have this hair on my head. You don't have to do it. I'm gonna do it. Like, it was just me just playing chemist, researcher with, my hair. So at the end of the day, it was like, if you want to try this thing, you can. You don't have to, but this is what I'm doing just to see what's possible. In the meantime, my hair will be growing out of my head. I'm also, trying to eat healthy, nutrient dense food, like all the things to ingest to make sure that like I'm not putting like avocado or like making my own concoctions. You know what I mean? I'm trying like well formulated, established products in the
Science
market.
backed. Yes.
Yes, exactly. To see like what could work on my hair. So that was kind of the idea behind it.
Okay. I do want to highlight two things, as I know there is debates. People love it, people hate it, people are indifferent.
Hmm.
Olaplex and K18. I
Hmm.
noticed that this was a part of your regimen. Do you swear by them? Do you like them? What
I
did they do for you?
I do. I love both K18 and Olaplex. I know people put them
Okay.
together because they are very similar products, but they're both Olaplex is patented for this particular formula, and K18 has their own particular formula.
Okay.
I think they're different in the way that I think K18 hits all the bonds in your hair, and I think Olaplex hits the disulfide bonds, which is like the ones that the one that like links your hair together with the damage, like, or so that it's not damaged, disulfide bonds. But I think like it's very hard to, because I'm like, I have both. Like, I don't know what to say, but I think for people who are like heat trained, heat trained, or have colored hair, like I think both can work for you. It just depends on talking to a professional, because I don't think they should be used every day. But I can't pit them together because I think they do different things and they both have their own different formulas. And K18 has different products than Olaplex. Like I feel like K18 has like their heat protection line, and they're coming out with different things, versus Olaplex like has the new curl shampoo that's for bond repair. So I feel like they're coming out with different things. K18 doesn't even have styling products, I don't think, but Olaplex does. Like, there's different ways that I think you can use both in a routine where you don't have to feel like you have to be completely one brand over another. But that's just been me. Like, I feel like I'm not somebody who goes out and buys like a whole collection of one brand and I only use that thing. I think I've always just, pish posh things together. So that's me. But I think they're both great brands.
Okay. So I also saw a video that you posted. I believe SheaMoisture, I believe they flew you to New York and you went to one of their salons.
Hmm.
I absolutely love the outpour and I love the support. My question to you is, when you sat in that stylist chair, were you apprehensive? How were you feeling? Do you feel like you were reassured? Because I believe you also got a little, from what I saw, I believe
Hmm.
you did get a little emotional.
I did. I know, because I thought I was over it, but I was not.
Okay.
I was
Okay.
not. I think just like being able to talk about my hair in front of other people as it's like in its most vulnerable state was like very sensitive for me to talk about. But overall, I really loved that SheaMoisture saw that um, whole fiasco happen and wanted to be a part of it and help. Because at the end of the day, like me and SheaMoisture already had a working relationship. So them stepping in to be like, we want to do something nice for you, even if it's just to get your hair done. We want to like take that burden off of you. Because that even in itself, like having the heat damage and trying to figure out what styles I can do was stressful. It's like I can't just throw it in the bun and da da da. Like I'm like the constant brushing and the constant. I'm like it's not helping. So that was really special to me. I wasn't necessarily apprehensive because I already knew what style I wanted to do. So it wasn't like they were putting any heat on my hair or doing anything that felt like I was adding or it was detrimental to my hair. If anything, it was a new style I wanted to do. And I'm like, I can finally do it. I wanted to do the braided baldy. And I'm like, oh my God, I thought my hair was too long for it. And I didn't know anybody who could do it. Da, 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 da. So it was just perfect that SheaMoisture was able to connect me with a stylist that they go to all the time. And I'm like, okay, perfect. But I think just me talking about it was like, oh, this is still very sensitive. I didn't even realize that I still get really emotional about it until I was in the chair and I was just like, well, at least I'm not lying. The girls are not lying.
You know what? That is actually, I was going to ask this question. And again, it's a perfect segue. You're on it.
Mhm.
So I'm a content creator. You're a content creator. Part of that is having a community and growing a community.
Right.
When it comes to social media, I feel like when it comes to like and attention and clickbait, it has somewhat become a currency. People can come up with crazy questions and theories. I want to ask you, has anyone, whether it's DM, they called you, they fit, whatever, has anyone actually said to you, you did this on purpose so you could get support, empathy, collaborations, or so you could grow your following?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
All right.
Multiple people, um, the people who did this, eh, strangers who didn't follow me, like it was a lot. So yeah, definitely. People thought I went in for a relaxer, thought I went in and changed my mind. I was like, "What are you even talking about?" You can even you if you took a second to even click on my page, you would know that I haven't worn my hair out, and I actually encourage people to even in, like, styles like this, I would be like, "Oh, wear, like, a kinky texture so that it's something similar to your hair." Like, I feel like I'm always encouraging the girls to wear something similar to their hair texture to, like, ease into wearing their hair natural, but it's interesting how much people would project their own insecurities and whatever they had going on to try and puzzle or put the pieces together of what didn't make sense to them. I'm just like, well, I'm telling you what I'm telling you, and that's just what it is. You can either take it at face value or not, or you can conjure up these stories you think happened, but I'm telling you what happened from my perspective, and that's just what it is.
Okay. And to the people who says that this is not a big deal, it's just hair, what do you have to say to them?
To you. It's just hair to you, not to me, because this is, again, my livelihood, but it's also something that's never happened to me. It'd be different, like I said, if I did this to myself, I'd be like, "Dang, Paula, why did you do that?" Now look at what now you have to, face the consequences of your own actions, but these aren't my actions. It's something that happened to me, and it's like you entrusted your hair with professionals, and this is what happened as a result. So you feel, like, slighted in a way. You feel like it's traumatizing in the way that you feel like you can't trust people again with your hair, and I think that's what people are missing from that aspect. Is like, yes, it's just hair, yes, it grows back, yes, 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 but at the same time, now I feel like I can't go to professional to straighten my hair. Now I feel like I can't entrust anybody to do my even if it's braids, I'm like, "I don't want you blow dry my hair, I'll come blow dry. I'll do it myself," because I feel like nobody else can touch my hair because if I can do it myself and it's fine, then why would I entrust another person to potentially mess up my hair like they did the last time? And I'm like, people don't get that is like the psychology behind the whole process because it's like somebody did something to you where you entrusted them to, perform a service for you and it turned out horrible. Like I feel like that's what people are missing. And I mean people will, be keyboard warriors behind social media, but who knows what they look like? Who knows what their hair is like? Like, it could be men typing that, like, they have no hair. Of course, hair is nothing to like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at the end of the day, I feel like I also had to have that mentality too, like, this is my story, and I'm gonna stick beside my story because it happened to me. I can't say, people be like, "Well, I went to the salon and I was fine." Okay, that's like victim blaming other people who had a different situation and it turned out horrible. Just because it happened, like it was okay for you doesn't mean that like I should, you know, have that like story behind mine. Like this is my story and I have the right to share it as I please. So take it or leave it. But people are gonna have their opinions and that's the one thing about social media is like you want to have the virality, but sometimes when you hit a different, corner of the internet that reaches your content, it's like, you're inundated with all these opinions of,
Oh, yes. Oh,
people
yes.
who don't get it, who don't get it. But a lot of people did, and I would say, like, a part of it too was trying not to focus on the negative because I feel like of 5% that was the negative, 95% was overwhelmingly positive. And I think at the end of the day, I grew so much in my personal development, but also gaining a community who understood that. And I think that was impactful to see like how many people I could reach just with my story alone who felt like you gave me the courage to wear my hair. I'm so sorry this happened to you. Or I feel so like I relate to this story so much because it happened to me and I can't wait to go along for the journey. Like that was probably the most positive thing that happened out of the whole experience. And at that I appreciate and that I can say like, even if it were to happen again, I appreciate like being able to build the community of people that were able to like see themselves in my story. So
Okay. Let's take it to the big chop. I believe you posted it on March 28th. I don't know if that's when you actually did it, but I saw the video. Absolutely love it. You look fabulous. You
thank
look
you.
stunning.
Thank you.
You got the heat damage. You were sitting in the woman's chair. You realized that you went through your boot camp. And even you said that you knew that your curl pattern was not going to be the same. And you already talked about a big chop. But take me to the moment when you realized you had to big chop and you were just done with the two textures and the demarcation point. When did you realize that?
I think this was around February because I knew I wanted to big chop either quarter one of 2026, whether it be new year, new beginnings, new me in January, or self love, all the things in February, or my birthday, turning 30 in March. Like that was
Okay.
like, it has to happen one of these months. It cannot go past like March. That was in my head. I've already washed my hands of my hair. Like I was done. But like when I was really, really, really done was February. I feel like I made a video. I think I had just did like a Valentine's hairstyle with like a heart bun and like it was curly hair clip-ins. I had straightened it, but it just felt like ugh, there's not much I can do with my hair. Like I just felt like I went from this exploratory phase of my hair and trying different hairstyles to feeling limited. And I felt like so much like I wouldn't say anguish, but like just so much frustration with like feeling like I was stuck in this box. And I was like, okay, when I finally get to Big Chop, I feel like I will be free of this thing. That's what it felt like. So it felt like it was like a release. So even when I was working with the hairstylist and trying to figure out who's gonna do my hair, I already had somebody in mind and it was like, okay, I need to go to Kristen. Like that's my girl. I know she can Big Chop. I know like she knows the situation because she reached out to me, all the things, but I'm like, I want to work with her. So when we got together and I got in her chair, she was like, "It's okay if you're gonna be emotional." I was like, "Girl, I'm not crying. I'm ready to let this thing go. I'm ready to let it go, okay?" And she was like, "Are you sure?" "Girl, I'm ready." Like, she was like, "Okay, I'll let you do the bitch chop." Perfect. Step, 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 step. Like, I'm done. I'm ready to let it go. So I felt like it felt like a cathartic release of this thing that's been trapping me since it happened. So,
Okay.
yeah.
And you say, I believe you said, is it Christine?
Kristen.
Kristen. So
Yeah.
I heard you say that y'all had a working relationship
Yes.
already.
Yeah.
Okay. Did you have to make the first snip to be okay, or you were okay in her chair?
I was okay in her chair. She was like
Okay.
she was the one who was pushing me to like I always let clients take the first, snip. Like I forgot how she phrased it, but I was like, yeah, of course, like I'll do it. It's okay. She was like, okay, here are the scissors, da, da, da. And I was like, girl, I'm ready to go. Like, let's do this thing. Like I was so ready. So it was a really positive experience. And I feel like she was also speaking so much life into me and like making sure I was comfortable throughout the whole way. Like, is this okay? Do we want to go shorter? Do we want to do this? Even as I was like sharing pictures with her, like inspo pictures, she was like, this is perfect. I love this. This is going to look so great on you. Like everything about the whole experience with her was fantastic. 10 out of 10. So I love
Okay.
that.
She is a curl specialist.
Yes, she is a curl
So
specialist.
are you going to be going to her following? Are you going to follow up with her?
Probably to like, I know she asked me like if I wanted to cut again, like do any, aligning, da da da, like if anything was out of place, that she would open up her chair back to me again to come free of charge. And I was like, oh, perfect. Like I love that. Thank you so much. But a part of me also feels like I've been able to handle my hair prior to this experience, I don't feel like I need to be in a curl specialist chair for anything in particular. But because my hair is short now, I'm like, ooh, do I want to play with color? Do I want to play with a different, like, different type of styling? Do I want to go shorter? Do I want to so now I'm kind of like, I can be in somebody's chair for that because I will leave it to the professionals. And I'm also very, I guess, thankful to myself or grateful to myself for not letting it scar me to the point where I feel like I can't sit in another professional's chair, because I feel like a lot of people were also like, "Ooh, girl, you're so brave." Like, even when I straighten my hair, "You're so brave. You're willing to do." Yeah, I am. I am, because at this point, I don't want it to let it affect me to that point where I'm so like jaded about the experience or so hardened by the experience that I can't let anybody touch my hair. It's just like, okay, I got to make sure I do my due diligence about who is in my hair. And just be more cautious of that and not take on any type of opportunities, even if they're comps, to let anybody just play in my head, because I'm like,
Yes,
I've
absolutely.
learned my lesson.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
you have done the big chop. You were with Kristen. She does a fanatic job. It's a big C. You look amazing. Then I'm on your page, just doing a little bit of research, and I see that you have decided to straighten your hair.
yes.
And we also see that it reverted, which I know you are very happy about, which
Mhm.
you probably now, again, looking in hindsight, there were things that were going on in the background when it came to the heat damage. And I was just looking at some of the comments, and first of all, someone said, well, why did you feel the need to let people know that it was a black salon? What do you have to say to that?
I think it's important for me to say that it was a black salon first, because when the original video went out, a lot of people were like, "Well, why didn't you go to a black salon?" And I'm like, well, like, I was fighting in the comments, like, this was a black salon. This was like, y'all don't see. I think they saw the hands of the stylist and made assumptions, and I was like, y'all don't recognize your own people? Come on now, like. That was a black lady. That was a black girl. Like, that was a black hairstylist. Come on. But it felt like I was fighting in the comments, trying to like correct people on what they thought they knew. And I was like, you would think that going to a black salon that they would have like care for black hair, right? But I'm like, I think people assumed and also were victim blaming me about going to a white salon, but like saying that I should have known better to be in somebody's chair like that, or being in somebody's salon, thinking that I wasn't gonna like they didn't know how to care for my hair. And I'm like, that's actually not what happened at all. So I felt like I had to make sure I said I got heat damage from a black salon to correct people, because even though you would assume that a black salon would care for black hair, that's not always the case. So it's not only to correct people from the original video, but to also share the sentiment that even though you think you're going to a black salon, it doesn't necessarily mean they know what they're doing. But I think people wanted to make assumptions that because I'm Nigerian American, that I like trying to cause this diaspora war in the comments. I'm like, first of all, no. Don't even the
It
projection
is it's I believe is it
crazy.
the FBA versus versus Africans thing?
Something something like they try to create that scenario, and I'm just like, that's not what it is at all. Clearly, I was just in another Black American stylist chair, big upped her, love her, because I'm always promoting black stylists, black this, black like anything I can to put black people on. But that's the whole reason I went to that salon to do the comp. I was like, oh, this is a black salon. Perfect. I can, you know what I mean? Like, it's something that's in like the DNA of what I talk about. So it's just like you creating this false narrative to try and say, oh, because she's Nigerian, because da 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 that I'm trying to say. To me, also, I feel like there's a distinction between Black American and Black, because Black American is an ethnicity versus Black is a race too. So when I'm saying Black salon, it could be a Nigerian, da 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 this, or a Haitian, or whatever the case may be. But I feel like people wanted to draw conclusions from what they didn't know. And I'm just like, well, if you saw the original video and you saw me fighting for my life in the comments, you would know that people were saying I went to a white salon, and it wasn't a white salon. And I've been to a white salon for a blowout and my hair was fine. So it's very interesting, the conclusions and the projections people will, put on in the comments, or to try and draw conclusions from what they think happened. But I'm like, that's not what it is at all. It's just clearing things up, essentially.
Okay. And then other people in the comments, and I'm pretty sure once you posted this video about the heat damage, cutting it off, and then straightening your hair again, there were many people in the comments that were saying, after all that you've been through, Why apply heat again? And you spoke about fear, not limiting your hair journey. And you also said that you were not going to let one experience traumatize or dictate how you were going to wear your hair forever. To the
Exactly.
people who were saying, why do it again? What do you have to say to them?
Why not? Why not do it again? Like, I feel like this is the perfect time for me to know whether or not my hair can take heat. And I
Okay.
think there was also the gaslighting from the original video, like,
Yes.
"Oh, it's because your hair is this, that, and the third," even from the salon. "Oh, I think it's because your hair is did it." I know my hair. I know I have fine strands. I know I can only take so much heat. I know that my hair is more prone to damage, but I know that my hair can take heat. It's happened before. So it's like, well, why would this be the one situation where my hair all of a sudden is bone straight from heat damage and I can never do heat again and this, that, and the third. Like that, I don't believe that, and I won't subscribe to that notion of thinking that my hair is just so weak and so fragile that it can't possibly do any other style. So I felt like, well, let me do it. Let me do it and let me see because I want to know. And I figured it out. And not only did I figure it out, but it's just like I knew what my hair was capable of from the beginning, and I wasn't going to let anybody gaslight me about what my hair can and can't do, especially policing me about what I should and shouldn't do. So I was like, well, I'm going to do this thing and I'm going to find out whether or not my hair can, take heat and can it revert? And it did. And I was like, well, would you look at that? Interesting. Interesting.
Interesting.
So yeah, that's what I have to say.
Okay. And there is a young woman or an adult who right now is going through what you have been through. And it could be a man as well. Maybe they cannot necessarily see the light at the end of the tunnel, but they will get there. What advice do you have for that person?
I would say, obviously, to keep going. Don't let anybody speak fear into your hair or police what you should and shouldn't do with your hair. Do what you think you want to do when you're comfortable, because I feel like that's what a lot of people are projecting a lot of fear onto me, saying that I should do this or should do that and policing the way I should do, like go about styling my hair or putting heat in my hair, whatever the case is. But at the end of the day, it was on my timeline, on my time. And when I was ready to cut, that's when I was going to cut. When I was ready to big chop or transition or, work with different hairstyles or do put a wig in real quick, I'm going to do that on my time. And I think everything is a journey. And I don't want anyone to feel as if they have to subscribe to anybody else's timeline. When you get there, you will get there, but, like, a little at a time, like, institute whatever, things that make you a little scared to maybe wear your hair out this way one day, maybe just in the comfort of your home, or try a different style that you wouldn't normally, but it takes time, and I'm someone who will say, like, you don't have to do everything all at once. Like, just take your time and you will eventually get there. So,
I love that. Okay, we are coming to the end of our conversation. I just have a couple of fun questions, rapid fire. Are you ready?
yes, I'm ready.
Favorite hair collaboration?
Ooh. Um, okay, maybe I'm not ready.
It can be more than one, maybe top
Maybe
two,
more than
top
one.
three.
Okay, I want to say favorite collaboration as of recently was the Big Chop because I
Okay.
worked with the favorite hairstylist that I've been wanting to work with, and then Olaplex comps that service. So like she's an Olaplex ambassador. I
Okay.
love Olaplex, so it's like everything felt like it was
It
working in
aligned.
tandem.
Perfect.
I was like, okay, perfect. I'm working with my girl. She loves Olaplex. I love Olaplex. Olaplex is helping us out. Like it was great. So
Okay.
yeah,
Favorite brand trip?
SheaMoisture.
SheaMoisture. Is
Yeah,
it Camp Shea, I believe, or they've actually been
no,
doing a whole
they
lot.
did. Yeah, they've been doing a lot, but it was actually the Jamaica brand trip, the international
Okay.
one. That one was great. That was fun.
Okay. Current go-to hair products.
Oh, I use so many. I would say my current go-to styling, now that I can do my wash and goes again, is the Miche anti-humidity gel. That chef's kiss. My curls be popping. So
Okay, so
that's
that's
the
the
top.
favorite hair. That's the favorite hair product. What is
Yes,
your favorite hairstyle currently?
wash and go. Well, this style, I do
Okay, and then the wash and go.
and then the wash and go. Yes.
Okay, and lastly, you must come out with a product tomorrow. The money is there, the marketing is there, the support is there. What is it?
it has to be something that people are dealing with. And I feel like I don't know what it would be, but something for the girls who go to the gym or who are active who can help maintain their hairstyle post gym, post active.
Okay.
There's something there. I don't know what it is yet, but there's something there.
Okay. All right. So, Fola, thank you so much for this conversation. Please let people know if you have anything coming up for you or your brand, and let people know where they can follow and support you.
Thank you. I don't have anything coming up for my brand yet, but you can find me at Folahontas, Folahontas, on everything: YouTube, Pinterest, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, all the things. Um, and yeah, I mean, maybe I'll have something in the future. So if you follow me, you'll stay tuned.
I was just getting ready to ask, is you're talking about this gym product. Is this an exclusive?
And
Are you saying something?
I'm not. I mean, we'll see. One of these days,
Okay.
you might see something with my name attached to it, but we'll see.
Okay. All right. Like I said before, Fola, thank you so much for having this conversation. It was absolutely amazing. You are stunning. I know that you and your hair are going to recuperate. If there is nothing else, I'm going to say good afternoon to you, good afternoon to the community, and I will see everybody later. Bye.